Most people have trouble effectively managing their finances. Their spending and living habits must have something to do with this. If you get the fundamentals right, managing your finances becomes much simpler. So guys, stick with me to the end of this video as we discuss several financial mistakes you shouldn't make. Ready? Let's dive in. Number 1. Spending more than what you earn. Spending more than what you make will make you feel like you can't afford your costs, which will make you hate your job. For this reason, it's usually advisable for people to keep their spending to a minimum compared to their income. Long-term benefits include the installation of financial disciplines. No matter how much money you make, you should never spend more than you make. You are forced to apply for credit if it surpasses. In the unlikely event that you're unable to manage your credit properly, you will get into a debt trap from which it will be difficult to escape. Large sums of money are sometimes lost $1 at a time. When you order that pay-per-view movie, go out to dinner, or buy that double mocha coffee, it might not seem like a big deal, but it all adds up. Spending just $25 a week on eating out costs you $1,300 a year, which might be used to cover numerous additional credit card, auto, or other payments. Avoiding this error is crucial if you're struggling financially, since if you're just a few dollars from foreclosure or bankruptcy, every penny will matter more than before. Number 2. Not following the 50-30-20 rule. Every person needs to have a budget strategy in place. The budget plan should ideally be created on a month-by-month basis, and you must make sure that you follow it. Every earner should adhere to the 50-30-20 budgeting principle. In other words, you must set aside 50% of your income for necessities like groceries, EMI, rent, utilities, and so on, 30% for luxuries like gym memberships and outings, and the remaining 20% for savings. Also, stay away from endless payments. Cable television, music services, and upscale gym memberships are just a few examples of things that might make you spend continuously while leaving you with little in return. Creating a leaner lifestyle can help you increase your savings when money is tight or you just wish to save more. This will protect you from financial difficulty. Number 3. Not planning your taxes. Your financial strategy should undoubtedly include careful tax preparation. If you don't, you'll end up paying more in taxes than you ought to. Under the Income Tax Act of 1961, there are some deductions and exemptions that are available, and it only makes sense to take advantage of them. Planning your taxes at the beginning of the fiscal year will be beneficial for you because you never know what will occur at the last minute. Number 4. Availing debt unnecessarily. It's never a good idea to take on debt. It would be great if you never took out debt to repay your daily needs. Instead, you should rely on your income to cover them. Your budget plan is flawed if you're unable to pay your basic expenses from your income. You should address this as soon as possible and cut back on superfluous spending. Having debt implies that you will have to pay back more than what you borrowed. Additionally, if you're late in payments, your credit score will suffer and you won't be able to be approved for loans when you need them the most. Therefore, it is wise to avoid getting into debt. If your debt is costing you 19% of your income, but your retirement savings is earning 7%, you might think that switching the retirement for the debt will result in you saving the difference, but it's not quite that easy. It's quite difficult to repay those retirement savings, and you risk being charged exorbitant costs in addition to losing the benefit of compounding. Borrowing from your retirement account can be an option if you approach it properly, but even the most diligent planners struggle to save enough money to rebuild these funds. The desire to pay back the debt usually disappears once it has been settled. It will be very tempting to keep up the same level of spending, which means you risk getting into debt once more. Living as though you still owe your retirement fund money is necessary if you plan to pay off debt using savings. Number 5. Having too many credit cards. Since not everyone can manage credit card debt, it is seen as a high-class debt. Only those who are capable of using them responsibly should use credit cards. Credit cards may provide fantastic deals and discounts, but if you are already having trouble making your payments on time, those deals and discounts won't be worth it because you'll be paying interest as well, which may add up to the sizable amount. Additionally, managing your debt will be challenging if you have too many credit cards and you run the risk of missing payments. Therefore, it would be beneficial if you didn't look for offers behind credit cards. Number 6. Not checking credit score. You should regularly check your credit score if you have used credit. Sometimes the credit report may contain errors, and if you don't detect them, your credit score will suffer. Your chances of later obtaining credit may be affected by this. To be safe, you should routinely check your credit report and file disputes if any information is submitted incorrectly. Number 7. Not making investments. Making investments to have a better future would be beneficial. Your income must be invested in areas that fit your risk tolerance to some extent. You should invest aggressively in the early years of your career and reduce the amount of risk you accept as you get closer to retirement. You might never be able to stop working if you do not put money to work for you in the markets or through other investments that generate income. For a comfortable retirement, making monthly contributions to designated retirement accounts is important. Leverage your employer-sponsored retirement plan or tax-deferred retirement savings. Understand how long it will take for your investments to grow and how much risk you can take. If feasible, seek the advice of an experienced financial counselor to match this with your objectives. Number 8. Not accounting for inflation. You must take inflation into account while making investments. Your investments may suffer because of this. Over time, inflation devalues your investment. You must put money into options that can generate returns that outpace inflation if you want to beat it. The best strategy to combat inflation is through making investments in stock markets and mutual funds. Your investments might not be helping you achieve your goals if you haven't taken inflation into account. Number 9. Not making retirement plans. Every earner must make a strategy for their retirement. Why rely on others when you can rely on yourself? Many programs enable people to periodically set aside money for their retirement. The best approach to prepare for retirement is to invest in mutual funds, NPS, PPF, and choose VPF. You won't feel the pinch since you set aside a small amount each month. Number 10. Ignoring financial plan reviews. Your financial future is dependent on the current situation. People spend countless hours watching TV or scrolling through the social media feeds, but setting aside 2 hours a week for their finances is out of the question. You must be mindful of your goal. Make time for financial planning a top priority. In essence, you need to assess your financial strategy at least once a year. This will make it easier to adapt to changes that might help you reach your goals more quickly. You can ask a financial advisor for assistance if you're unable to make the necessary assessments. A change in your income, expenses, or economic conditions necessitates a review of your financial strategy. By getting the fundamentals correct, managing your finances becomes straightforward. Keeping your spending much lower than your income is the secret to a solid financial strategy. Start by keeping an eye on the small expenses that quickly pile up to avoid the risks of overspending, and then go on to monitor the larger expenses. Before adding new debts to your list of obligations, consider your options carefully. Also, keep in mind that being able to make a payment does not necessarily equate to being able to afford the purchase. Finally, make saving a portion of your income and taking the time to create a healthy financial plan a monthly priority. Alright guys, this wraps up our video for today. If you found this video useful, please do well to give it a thumbs up and don't forget to hit the subscribe button as well.